Good morning, grandchildren. I have a book that dates back, a few years. I would say this book probably goes back all the way to the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1960. That was before Grandpapa was even born. I was not even alive in 1960. Yeah, this book is called 4 Puppies. Can you see the 4 puppies? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute, is that a puppy? No. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a squirrel. Let's see what this book says. There were once 4 new puppies who lived in a warm, dark corner by the stove. Those puppies had never been outdoors because they were too little. They didn't know about the sky or trees or grass. They didn't even know about summer or fall or winter or spring. Until, oh, look at those puppies all piled in there next to the fire to stay warm. I guess that's Mama. Until they were old enough to go outside, out to the door on the sunny porch. At first the stairs were too big for the little puppies to go down. Then one day the stairs didn't look so big anymore. They're smaller, said one puppy. No, we are bigger, said his older brothers. Then those 4 little puppies went flop, hop, and tumbled down the stairs into the great big world outside. They sniffed the fresh green smell of grass. They raced on the grass and they rolled on the grass and they turned somersaults in the grass all afternoon. Oh my, what a fine place this is, said the 4 little puppies. Look at them coming down the steps. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And there they are rolling in the grass and one's chasing something. They're having so much fun. Puppies love to play like that. Every day the 4 puppies went out to play. They pounced at caterpillars, they chased butterflies, they ran around and around after their shadows. They had so much fun that they hated to go inside, even when there was nice hot chicken broth for supper. Then one morning the stairs looked even smaller. And we're even bigger, said the puppies. And they walked down those stairs, plop, plop, plop. But the 4 little puppies were so busy playing that they didn't see that the big world was changing too. Look at them chasing butterflies and caterpillars, having so much fun. Look how big they're getting now. And they didn't know that the world was changing outside until it had changed so much that they couldn't play the same games anymore. A funny little wind tickled their ears. They didn't have the shadow because the sun was behind a cloud. The grass felt cool. The butterflies had gone. The caterpillars were hiding. And the leaves began to turn yellow and red. Oh dear, said the puzzled puppies. The next day, whoosh, the wind knocked all the petals off a rose, and swoosh, it blew the leaves right off of a tree. Those 4 puppies tried to put the petals back on the rose. They tried to put the leaves back on the tree, but they couldn't, so they started to cry. Oh my, see? Wind's blowing, things are changing. He's found a red leaf where the leaves used to be green. But look how sad this is. The petals are blowing off the rose and he's trying to put them all back on, and they're trying to get the leaves to stick back to the trees. Oh, they're so sad. They don't know what's happening. What do you think's happening? You silly billies, there's nothing to cry about, said a friendly red squirrel in a hickory nut tree. When the leaves turn red and yellow and come off the trees, it means that summer is over and fall has come. Why, you'll just have more fun than ever. And the squirrel was right. Leaves as crisp as cornflakes covered the ground. The 4 little puppies scuffed around in the leaves and buried themselves under the leaves and kicked leaves up in the air. They had so much fun that they hated to go inside even when there were lamb chops for supper. So look at that squirrel. You silly billies. He's telling them this is what's supposed to happen. It happens every year. Oh my, that dog is buried up in the leaves. They are having fun. They do not want to go inside, even with lamb chops. Have you ever had lamb chops? Then one morning when the puppies went out to play, they didn't have to walk plop, plop, plop down the stairs. They could jump down the steps 2 at a time. They are even smaller, said one puppy. No, we're even bigger, said his brothers. But they didn't see that the big world was changing too, until it had changed so much that they couldn't play the same games anymore. The water in the puddles was hard as glass. A rough wind blew their ears back and blew the leaves clear out of the yard. See how big they are now? They can jump right down the steps. But boy, things have changed outside. Look at the puddles. They look like glass. What do you think's happened? I bet it's frozen water. It's getting cold out there. It's a different world now for those puppies. Oh dear, cried the puzzled little puppies. They tried to hold on to the leaves, but they blew away faster and faster. So the puppies started to cry. You silly billies, there's nothing to cry about, said the friendly red squirrel in the hickory tree. When there's ice on the puddles and the north wind blows, it means that fall is over and winter has come. You'll just have more fun than ever. Oh, they were so sad. Look at him. Oh, it's me. You're crying. Woo-hoo-hoo. And he says, you silly billies, winter's coming. What happens in winter? Well, let's see. And the squirrel was right. For the next day when the puppies went out to play, everything was white with snow. Every day after that, those 4 little puppies parted the snow with their noses, and they slid down the bank and made footprints in the snow. They had so much fun that they hated to go inside, even when there was a great big beef bone for supper. One morning, the puppies were so big they could jump down the stairs 3 at a time. But they didn't notice that the big world was changing too, until look at them having fun in the snow. Woohoo! Sliding down the hills, digging and everything like that. How many puppies do you see here? Can you see all 4 puppies? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. Where's the 4th puppy? There he is, way up there in the hills. They're playing in the snow, but they didn't notice the big world was changing until it had changed so much they couldn't play the same games anymore. The sunshine was warmer. It wasn't raining, but water was dripping from the trees. The snowbank was too small to slide down, and the next day there were brown patches of ground with no snow at all. Oh dear, cried the puzzled little puppies. They tried to push the snow into a pile so they could keep it to play with. I did that when I was a little boy. Before the snow melted, I would roll the biggest snowball I could roll in the yard. And then after the snow was all gone, that snowball would stay there for a few days. Well, that's what they're trying to do. But the ground turned to water and sank into the ground right under their paws. So the puppies started to cry. See, they can't slide down the hill and water's dripping off the branches. And here they are pushing the snow up into a pile trying to save it. Poor things, they started to cry. I bet I know who's about to call them something. You silly billies, there's nothing to cry about, said the friendly red squirrel in the hickory tree. When the sun gets warmer and melts the snow, it means that winter is over and spring has come. And you'll soon guess for yourselves what comes after spring. It's like a wheel turning around and around. And the squirrel was right. Some tiny green stalks poked up out of the ground. The puppies and the stalks grew bigger every day. And one day the puppies jumped down all the steps at once and found leaves and flowers on every stalk. That's how the big world looked when we first saw it, they cried. And they began to bark happily, for they had guessed what comes after spring. Oh, look, it's all melting. He's saying, you silly billies. Look, it's spring and all the tulips and butterflies and green things. Oh, the dogs are getting big too. Summer is what comes after spring, cried the first puppy. Butterflies again. Then fall, said the second puppy. Crisp leaves again. Then winter, said the third puppy. Nice white snow again. Then spring, said the fourth puppy. Brand new leaves again. And everything starts all over again every spring. And the puppies cried together. Look how big they are. They're not puppies anymore. Let's see here. There they were in the box. See how tiny? Look at them. Now look how big. The friendly red squirrel looked down at them from the hickory tree. Now that you know all that, you are not puzzled little puppies anymore, he said. What are we then? Asked the puppies. Why, you are big brave dogs, he said. And the squirrel was right as usual. So there's the squirrel giving them a lecture, and they're big brave dogs. Those look like collies. That's the kind of dog they are. The end. I love you, grandchildren.